You know, it's really quiet up here, but it's almost too quiet. Almost too quiet. I can see all you guys watching. I know there's somebody watching out there. Yeah, I know you're out there. I can hear you drooling. Monsters, I tell you.
Train the muscles, not the joints.
One thing I hear from people is that they're either all or nothing. So either their training is going great or their training is going okay, and then they basically throw the baby out with the bathwater and they just quit altogether. And I know a lot of people, especially the perfectionists in the world, they figure that if one part of the training is not going right, then just throw all the training out the doors. And speaking of doors, let's go up the logging road. I've been, filming in the garage the last couple of days. So yeah, let's go up the logging road and go for a chat. Okay, go for a chat. Yeah, let's go for a chat. So here we are. I made it. We're up on the logging road right now, and then let's talk about all or nothing training, or let's just say specializing in certain body parts at certain times. I'm not going to lie though, I'm a little bit scared. There is a possibility of Sasquatches or some sort of monster in the woods at all times. So first of all, I have to do a monster check to make sure that I am safe during the filming of this video. Let me know, guys, if you see anything. Just let me know, because sometimes stuff is like hiding, right? You know, it could be right in front of your face and you don't even know it's there. It's kind of like workout knowledge. Sometimes it's so obvious, but you don't even notice it because it's too obvious to notice. As you can see, I've properly marked my territory first and foremost before filming for extra safety. I have also now set up my good camera equipment because the area has been deemed as safe. So now I can continue with the professional YouTube video that you guys have come to know. Hey Jay, we rolling yet? Yeah, you started? Okay. Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding. Mountain. I'm much bigger in a sweater. You see that? Just all poofed up. So really what I want to say in this video is that there are times where certain parts of your training are going to be going really well. And then there are times where other parts might be lagging behind for various reasons. And one of the major reasons that happens is that you may overtrain in one area of the body or get some sort of overuse injury, or maybe you injured that area from doing something improperly for you, or just having a normal sports injury, because that happens, right? Sometimes you're playing sports with your friends or doing something stupid, you know, or just slipping down the stairs or whatever it might be. And then what happens is that your training
in a certain way is sidelined. So say you twist your ankle or something like that. Obviously, calf training is out and possibly leg training for a period of time, but that does not mean that you should give up your upper body training. So really what I'm trying to do with this video is to get you to turn your focus towards positivity when it comes down to what you can do instead of focusing on what you can't do.
This is crazy. What the fuck? Why is this guy so hard to beat? I don't... Oh, now I die and then he goes. Okay, great. Yeah. Typical. Story of my life. It's like, this is exactly what's going to happen. One day my YouTube channel is going to blow up, but it's probably going to be when I'm dead. That's probably what's going to happen.
And I've seen this sideline a lot of people's progress, not even just other people, but even my own back in the day, because sometimes I would get obsessed with everything being perfect. And then when something went wrong, then I would get discouraged when it comes down to actually doing the exercises that are still working and still functional for me. Sometimes I would get a little bit, let's just say, discouraged, and therefore my motivation would lessen. But instead of looking at what's happening in your body in a negative way, what you could do is use it as an opportunity. So say you get injured in a certain area, or say you're getting knee pain, right? Say you're doing a lot of leg training and then your knees are flaring up. Well, it's okay to take a break from training legs, or maybe back off on the weight or the intensity or the volume or the frequency, right? Just back off on the overall training frequency and intensity on leg training. Let the knees rest a bit, and then focus your efforts on areas that are responding well at that time. So you might focus more on your chest training or your back training or shoulders, like whatever it might be that you feel you could really benefit from. So while you're really training and springboarding yourself into progress in one area, you're allowing another area to rest. And it's pretty common for people who are perfectionists or people who are looking to achieve something to become too obsessed with the problem instead of looking towards what's working. And I'm not saying for you not to look at what you might have done wrong in order to create a certain circumstance, but to get so focused on that that you give up what's actually working would be a detriment to your overall goals, right? So there's a car coming now. I can hear it. It's a motorcycle. Damn! Yeah, you keep driving, man. You keep driving. Hey, he knows. He's lucky he kept going, otherwise I'd feed him one of my exercise rocks. So back to my point. Basically, sometimes when you get sidetracked in your training, it can be an opportunity. So on to my next point. Sometimes you can look at these obstacles where you get sidelined in your training. So say you have a shoulder issue or an elbow issue or something, and you notice, oh, pressing movements are just a headache for you, but maybe you can still do a lot of back and leg training. You know, sometimes it's a time for you to put more volume into body parts that normally you didn't have time to do, because when you're training the whole body starts to take a little bit more recovery in different areas. But sometimes what you'll notice is that you'll be able to actually put more focus on some of these other body parts and more volume and more intensity when you're not training other body parts. And I've seen this with guys. I saw it back in the day with this one guy that used to take time off training from time to time. But basically what happened was, this guy was kind of an idiot. He picked a fight with a whole hockey team in a parking lot, and yet he couldn't fight worth a shit. And anyway, he ended up getting run over, and you know, lots of just bad stuff happened. So, you know, but what happened to him was that he broke his leg so badly that he couldn't train. He had to do a lot of surgeries and everything, and he couldn't train legs for a whole year. So what happened, he started to focus all of his efforts on upper body training, and a lot of the obstacles he had with growth in the upper body, he just smashed through. He just smashed through these plateaus because his leg training was no longer robbing a lot of the recovery that was being used. So the funny thing is that it seemed to work the opposite of what most of us are taught, where you have to train legs to stimulate the overall system and therefore your upper body training benefits. In a lot of circumstances, that's the truth. But in his circumstance, his leg training was robbing him of a certain amount of recovery so that his upper body was always overtrained. He couldn't necessarily recover properly. And once he stopped training legs, his upper body ballooned up quite a bit in comparison. So based on these crazy little unexpected discoveries that you make sometimes when life takes away your ability to train a certain area, it's almost offering you an opportunity to explore the areas that you can train with more depth, and therefore establishing more wisdom in that area. Now, of course, you can do all the rehabilitative stuff involved with the area that you're injured in, you know, physiotherapy, massage therapy, proper nutrition, all that sort of stuff, right? Drink a lot of bone broth, eat organ meat, you know, these types of things to help nourish an area. But in the end, sometimes it's an opportunity to blast through certain plateaus. So sometimes when it comes down to leg training, sometimes I'll train light legs for a period of time and just help everything rehabilitate, help the knees feel better, the back and everything, just everything feel great, right? So feeling great becomes my focus when it comes down to the squatting for a period of time. And then once I've done that for a period of a few weeks or a few months, then I'll go back into heavy training, and then everything feels rehabilitated in some way. But at the same time, I've put extra energy and resource into training some other body parts that I might feel that I'm lagging behind in. And so this is a way of not only just getting more results in certain areas that are plateaued, but it's also a way of making sure that enjoyment and health is the first priority in your training, because if you're enjoying what you're doing, you are going to succeed in a much higher level over the long run. Do you hear that? The forest is like so quiet. I just noticed how noisy I am. I've brought a lot of noise up here by making this video. There's a teaching in that, I'm sure. There's a teaching, you know. Sometimes it's good for you to not make noise in certain areas where there's too much noise already. You know, so say you're having an injured body part, one could say just training that area is bringing a lot of noise, a lot of stimulation to the area, and maybe there's too much already, and you just need to take a break from that area for a period of time. The other advantage to this is that it gives you more time to play video games.
Coward. Fireball's a coward. It's one thing I've learned from this game.
That's what this channel's about, is just constant growth of wisdom. You know, just a constant growth of wisdom. And I have noticed that a lot of you guys have not bought any of my exercise rocks, so I just wanted to make a public service announcement about that. If you don't buy any more exercise rocks, I cannot guarantee that I will not unleash the Sasquatches in warehousing on your house and your family. It's just a friendly reminder, you know? So anyway, I hope this helps you in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters. And on there, I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing a podcast every week on Patreon. So if you guys have missed out on the Patreon podcast, you probably want to tune in. It's really not a bad idea. It's only $5 a month, and you get to tune into the Natural Gallant Bodybuilding podcast on Patreon. Mountain. Natural Gallant.